Forget everything you think you know about Digimon games. For years, Cyber Sleuth was the undisputed king. But now, with Digimon Story Time Stranger finally here, we have to ask the brutal question. Did Bandai Namco finally fix their biggest mistake? Or did they just swap one frustrating grind for another? This is the ultimate showdown. Let's start where every great JRPG begins, the story. And here, I'm going to be blunt. Cyber Sleuth wins, and it's not even close. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth is a masterpiece of modern Digimon narrative. It's a dark, compelling, near-future detective story that perfectly blends the real world of Tokyo with the digital chaos of EDN. The stakes feel real, the characters, Kyoko, Arata, Nokia, are genuinely iconic, and the plot twists hit like a mega-level attack. It's a story that belongs on the same pedestal as Digimon Tamers. It's mature, it's stylish, and it holds up. Now, let's talk about Time Stranger. It has a new premise, a new cast, and a whole new time-traveling mystery. And while it's a perfectly fine Digimon story, it lacks the raw, impactful energy of its predecessor. It feels safer, more constrained. It's a fun adventure, but it doesn't have the same narrative weight or the same unforgettable cast. If you're coming to this series for the narrative depth and the cyberpunk intrigue, Cyber Sleuth is the definitive experience. Time Stranger gives us a good time, but Cyber Sleuth gave us a classic. This is where the decade-long gap between these games becomes painfully obvious. Cyber Sleuth, with its slick Shin Megami Tensei-inspired character designs by Suzuhito Yasuda and its killer Danganronpa-esque soundtrack, is incredibly stylish. But let's be honest, it's a glorified PS Vita game. The environments are bland, the dungeons are repetitive mazes, and the Digimon models, while charming, are showing their age. Time Stranger, on the other hand, is a visual powerhouse. It's built for modern consoles, and the difference is night and day. The Digimon models have received a complete, gorgeous overhaul. They are crisp, detailed, and expressive in a way the Cyber Sleuth models simply couldn't be. When a new mega-level Digimon steps onto the field in Time Stranger, it feels like a genuine event. So here's the verdict. Cyber Sleuth has the superior art direction and vibe, but Time Stranger has the unequivocally superior visual execution. One is a cool painting, the other is a high-resolution photograph. You decide which you value more, but for pure graphical fidelity and monster design realization, Time Stranger is the clear winner. This is the heart of the comparison, the make or break moment for the entire franchise. Both games share the same fundamental turn-based combat, the same virus data vaccine rock paper scissors system, and the same addictive digivolution/degeneration grind. But one single archaic mechanic in Cyber Sleuth was its biggest, most frustrating flaw: the memory limit. In Cyber Sleuth, you were constantly fighting against a ridiculously restrictive team capacity. Want to use a team of 3 powerful mega-level Digimon? Too bad. You had to grind for hours just to get enough memory upgrades, forcing you to use weaker Digimon or constantly swap out your favorites. It was a baffling anti-player design choice that actively punished you for engaging with the best part of the game: collecting and training powerful monsters. It was a mechanic that needed to die. And thankfully, in Digimon Story Time Stranger, it is dead. The single greatest, most revolutionary change in Time Stranger is the removal of the memory limit. You can now build the team you want, with the Digimon you want, without an arbitrary number holding you back. This one change alone makes the core gameplay loop of Time Stranger feel instantly superior, more rewarding, and infinitely less frustrating. However, Time Stranger introduces its own new problem: the personality system. Every Digimon now has one of 16 personalities that influences its stat growth. In theory, this is great. It adds depth to the raising sim aspect. In practice, it's an absolute mess. It's poorly explained, it makes the mid-game grind feel more opaque, and it adds a layer of unnecessary complexity to a system that was already complex enough. It feels like they fixed one flaw only to introduce a new confusing one. But even with the confusing personality system, the choice is clear. Time Stranger's gameplay is superior because it fixes the most egregious flaw of Cyber Sleuth. The freedom to build your dream team outweighs the confusion of the new stat system. Cyber Sleuth's core loop was excellent, but it was choked by the memory limit. Time Stranger unleashes that potential. So after all the comparisons, which game should you play? The answer depends entirely on what you prioritize. If you are a Digimon fan who lives and breathes for deep, compelling narratives, who wants a mystery that will genuinely hook you and a cast of characters you will remember long after the credits roll, then you must play Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. Its story is the franchise benchmark. You just have to be willing to tolerate the grind and, more importantly, the infuriating memory limit. But if you are a player who prioritizes the gameplay, the monster collection, and the sheer joy of building an unstoppable team, then Digimon Story Time Stranger is the better game. It takes the Cyber Sleuth formula, gives it a much-needed visual upgrade, and most importantly, it rips out the single worst mechanic that plagued the series. The quality of life improvements are so significant that they fundamentally change the experience for the better. Cyber Sleuth is the classic with the legendary story. Time Stranger is the modern evolution with the superior mechanics. If I had to recommend only one to a newcomer, I'd say start with Time Stranger. The barrier to entry is lower, the visuals are better, and the freedom in team building will keep you hooked longer. But if you fall in love with the world, you owe it to yourself to go back and experience the narrative brilliance of Cyber Sleuth. Ultimately, Time Stranger is the future of the Digimon Story series. It learned the right lessons from its predecessor's mistakes, even if it stumbled a bit trying to introduce new complexity. It's the game that finally lets us enjoy the grind without the constant nagging frustration of capacity management. It's the better RPG. That's my take, but what about yours? Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. I'm reading every single one. Thanks for watching.
Please, para pagka-right.